Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam wa rasulullah, or bad in the name of Allah. And may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger as to what follows. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. And before we begin, please like, please subscribe, please share. Please hit me up on Patreon. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here, always trying to shut us down, right? And also, we do have the mirror sites as well. And I urge and I implore and I ask you to please hit us up on the mirror sites as well. That is the Feachaz on library.com as well as the Feachaz, the infamous Feachaz on YouTube. And also, we thank you very much for all of your support. We've hit a few milestones this year. You know, we reached 1,000 subscribers. You know, we're already at 1,200 subscribers now, and we want to thank especially our loyal followers and subscribers to this channel, because as you know, we get so much heat. We get a lot of heat, right? So we want to just give you guys a shout out, and we want to give recognition to those who are holding strong and staying real and not submitting or bowing down to pressure, but rather remaining firm on the truth. And today's subject has a lot to do with that. Now, on Monday, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. No, it's Monday for sure. I released a video. I put this video together about certain members of the of your political elite and how they have essentially trolled and spit in the face of Black people again, which is not surprising. For those of you who have been watching this channel, you knew it was bound to happen anyways. But you know how the LGBTQs have their certain alphabet groups and gender identity. There's a new gender identity in the Black community, and we call those people Bidensexuals. You know, you have bisexuals. We call these people Bidensexuals. And what is a Bidensexual? Some of you are asking. A Bidensexual is from your elite shucking and jiving, tap dancing, buck dancing, break dancing Black leadership who have told you and pressured you into voting for Joe Biden without getting anything. Walaikum salam, Brother Dawood. Walaikum salam, Reactionary. And walaikum salam, Abu Abdurrahman. So, at any rate, for those of you who watched the video, and if you haven't watched the video, I really encourage you to go see this video because it will open your eyes to a lot. Okay? It will definitely open your eyes to a lot. So I encourage you and implore you to watch this video. Basically, what I said in this video was that under the Biden administration, only under the Biden administration, okay? Remember, your Black elite told you to go vote Joe Biden because he needed to get Trump out of office and the world's going to end and the sky's going to fall and all this kind of stuff, right? But under the Biden administration only, okay, they gave $100 million to the LGBTs, 10 million, I can't remember, 10 million to the Asians. They didn't even ask for it. Asians didn't even ask for it. Okay. 30 billion to Afghans, not citizens, mind you. Okay. 3.8 billion to Israel. And now 1 billion to illegal immigrants, also not citizens. But Joe Biden want to study. He want to study giving reparations to black people. But when they gave, the illegal immigrants 1 billion, they didn't hold a study. They didn't hold a committee. They didn't hold a conference. They didn't hold a meeting. All they did was give it to them. So all the excuses of your scared, cowardly, timid, gutless, weak, spineless Negro leadership came up with voting Democrat. All of that voting Democrat nonsense blew up in their faces. So black people were the ones who were putting the Democrats in power. Not the Asians, not the LGBTs, not the Afghans, not the illegal immigrants. And every other people group is leapfrogging black people. And the reason is that they're able to do this is because your enemy is a lot more savvier than you ignorant Negroes. So you vote based upon the lying promises of your enemy. And your enemy has never given you anything internationally. These colonizing powers of the earth have never, ever, ever given you anything anywhere on earth. But here come your boot-licking, butt dancing, tap dancing, shucking and jiving. Yes, sir, boss. Butter biscuit, cooning, Sambo leadership talking about we can't ask for reparations. We can't ask for reparations. No, sir, we can't ask. We can't ask for reparations. We got to get what we can get. And meanwhile, literally everybody getting reparations before you. What does that have to do with today's topic? I'm gonna get to it. All right. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch that video. You'll be shocked. Likewise, we have some boot-licking, butt-shaking, Colonel Sanders finger-licking good Salafis in front of us who want to keep destructive, backwards behaviors in the black community so that we can perpetually be begging poor people to donate to the masjid while saving our deen and boycotting an even more dangerous who? Ahlul Bid'ah. Are y'all hearing me? Donate to the masjid and boycott the ever dangerous Ahlul Bid'ah. These same Negroes in the Salafi community, okay, they won't say a word against white supremacy. They won't even huff and puff about it. They won't say anything about the breakdown of the community. They won't even talk about how the community was infiltrated, nor how we lost an entire generation due to their ultra dogmatic, robotic, mind control dribble drabble. Tarakal Ahlul Bid'ah. Like all this dribble drabble they keep saying all the time. Follow the Quran and Sunnah with Manhaj al-Salaf. Yes, follow Quran and Sunnah and Manhaj al-Salaf, but they don't actually mean that. We're going to get to that in a minute. They just say that as a form of mind controlling the people to make the people lazy and actually worshiping Allah. Y'all understanding me? We're going to get to that. So their number one concern, it isn't mass incarceration. It isn't gang culture. It isn't the rampant divorce rates in the Salafi community. It isn't the breaking up of families. Their number one concern in life is that you follow the manhaj of the Salaf and leave off Ahlul Bid'ah. Go to the Salafi masjid and don't forget to donate. That's their number one concern. These so-called imams, they are incredibly treacherous hypocrites. Okay, let's call them what they are. And they talk day and night about being Salafi, and at the same time, they're not Salafi in anything, like practically nothing, they're not Salafi in. Okay? They're not Salafi in their interactions with the people. They're not Salafi in their worship. They're not Salafi in their fasting. They're not Salafi in their reading in the Quran. They're not even Salafi in their manhaj, barely. They're murji when it comes to themselves. They're khariji when it comes to other Muslims. And when it comes to marriage, they're Rafida Shia, but Salafi and Akida. These people. These people. So now we have 20 years plus of practical application of Tarak al-Ahlul Bid'ah culture. And still, some of you newbies and people just got here, you know what I mean, who weren't with us in the past and saw the destruction of it. And even some of you mind-controlled Negroes are still pushing this stuff after witnessing, the destruction it put in the community. Y'all hearing me? So, my position has always been that we should not be sectarian. Why? Because I used to be just like these mind-controlled, mindless, robotic Tarak al-Ahlul Bid'ah, don't even give them salam people. I was one of them. Allah forgive me. I mean, I witnessed the destruction that I caused with my own hands. And I make tawbah from that. But how are you going to be Salafi for more than 10, 15 years and still doing this stuff in the Black community is beyond me. Because there's no excuse after that. But let's say, for example, you call yourself Salafi, okay? And our first Salafi is the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What was his example? What was his manhaj? Excuse me, for lack of better words. And right? What was he doing? You understand? See, some of y'all, when you say Ahlul Bid'ah, actually, majority of you guys who talk like this, when you say Ahlul Bid'ah, you literally mean anybody who is not you. Anybody who is not you is Ahlul Bid'ah. Therefore, you become Khariji in your way and your approach to people, but you don't alienate Kufar, you only alienate people who are making sujood and saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah like this. And you never take into consideration that perhaps this person doesn't know the truth. Never. So the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he used to be known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, even amongst the non-Muslims. Y'all hearing me? And before the revelation came down to him, he signed a treaty or a document called Hilful Fudul, right? Or like the document of Fudul, like the praiseworthy document. This Hilful Fudul was before revelation actually came to him. You understand? Before he, the Prophet ﷺ became a prophet. You understand? And the cause of this, the formation of this treaty is a treaty by the local tribes in Mecca. Why did they sign this treaty as non-Muslims? This is in Jahiliyyah we're talking about. You understand? And the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was involved in this treaty and he signed this treaty. not like signed, but like, you know what I mean? Signed off on this treaty, on the Hilful Fudul, hoping to establish this Hilful Fudul. Why was this treaty formed? It's because a Yemeni man came to Mecca to do some business dealings. His name is Wa'il al-Sahmi. Right? He came from Yemen. So he bought his goods and he goes to sell his goods. And when he goes to sell his goods, the people who are purchasing his goods are not paying him his money. They're delaying. So he went to protest to the Quraysh. And he asked the Quraysh to help him get his money. And nobody from the Quraysh helped him. So he went on a mountain there near the Haram, right? And he started loudly repeating these poems calling for justice. And because he did that, it moved some of the Quraysh and the elders there, and they came up with this, whatchamacallit, this pact. Hilf means pact, right? This pact of the Fudul, right? This like this beneficial pact, right? For anybody coming in to this region, if they're foreigners, they have to be dealt with justly. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that if he had to sign this Hilf Fudul, the Hilf Fudul that he was involved with before Islam, if he had to do it, he would do it again after Islam. But your Salafi leaders are trying to convince you, and when we say Salafi, we mean like, you know what we mean anyways. We're not talking about like traditional Salafis here, man. We're talking about these infiltrators. Okay? And we're talking about these infiltrators that came in and destroyed the dawah, that some of y'all are still following up until this day. And some of y'all are low-key exactly like those, because you're too cowardly to say anything about that, about what they do. So you want to be spubs without being spubs. You understand? You want that whole manhaj without being aligned with spubs. So you take the manhaj without spubs in them. Some of y'all trying to convince us that we can't have pacts from people from Ahlul Qibla because we can fall into their bid'ah. Okay? That's what you're trying to tell us. That's what you're trying to tell us. In 2021. You see, when the enemy looks at us, the enemy, they don't care if you're a Salafi or Ashari or Shia, or they don't care about that. They lump us all into the same group. If you're black, you're black. If you're Muslim. That's it. And they act according to those groups. And at the same time, they know which group is which, and they take that knowledge and the nuances of the differences and cause further division within those groups. And y'all go for it every single time. Because some of y'all are just chumps. Let's just call it what it is, man. Some of y'all are just some straight chumps. See, Oliver says, sound like mind control. That's exactly what it is. It sound like mind control. Voice of Islam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tika, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He ratified the treaty. Exactly. Thanks for putting it like that, right? But there's more. There's more. It's not just Hilful. You think we're playing now? Okay, there's more. The Prophet ﷺ, The first Hijra was sent where? Put it in the chat, please. Where did he order the first Hijra to? Put it in the chat, please. Where did he order the first Hijra to? Please put it in the chat. The first Hijra went where? Abyssinia. Thank you. It went to Abyssinia. Were there Muslims in Abyssinia? Were there Muslims in Ethiopia? The king was what? The king was what from Ethiopia? We're Salafi, right? We're supposed to be following the manhaj of the Salaf, right? Let's look at what the Salaf actually did. Let's look at how they actually handle these things. Come on now. No Muslims. The king was a Christian. Thank you. Najashi was a Christian. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, he sent Muslims to the lands of what? The Christians. In order to do what? To protect their religion, correct? That's what he did. So here we are in the West. Who is more dangerous to us in the West? To your children? Who is having a larger effect on your children? Is it A, the LGBTQs, or B, the Ash'ira? Who has a worse effect? Put it in the chat, please. Let me know I'm not tripping. Who has a worse effect on your children? Is it A, the Madhhabiyya, or B, the whatchamacallit? Thank you. See, all words. Put it the rainbows. Lashak. It's not even a contest. It's not even a contest. Is it the Madhhabiyya or is it the atheist? Who has a worse effect on your children, on the minds of your children? Alphabet group, thank you. So y'all know that these people are having a way worse effect on your children. Thank you, atheists. Thank you, Tika. Y'all know that these people have a way worse effect on your children. Much worse effect. But wallahi, okay, you will rarely find these people talking about Tarako public school or something like that. You know, keep your kids out of public school. You know what I mean? And even if they did say that, they would order you to send your children to a school that they built for profit, meanwhile not teaching your children anything anyways. You understand? They're actually doing the work of the enemy. And they barely get any marching orders. They're happy to do the work of the enemy through sectarianism. The Treaty of Medina, and I mentioned this in one of these what you call it, these meetings. I won't mention who this brother is. Was popular amongst black people. You know what I mean? But he's one of these, like, anyways, I don't want to talk about him. But anyways, the point is that you have Negroes telling you that you can't work with other black people because they're Sufi, they're Madhhabi, they're Shia, they're Nation of Islam, they're this, they're that, they're Christian. You have black people telling you this. And in every Muslim country on earth, even before Muslim countries were Muslim countries, every Muslim land on earth, you would find ta'awun with the people of the Sunnah and every other people in order to benefit the Muslims at large. But they are who are the only people that can't work with their own people in the Muslim community. We are the only people, only us. If you go to Pakistan right now, they have a country with Sunnis, Brahmanis, Deobandis, Shia, Qadianis, an entire country. If you go to Saudi Arabia, they have Ikhwanis, Sufis, Salafis, Rafida Shia, a whole country, okay? A whole entire country. As a matter of fact, every single year, for I can't remember how many years, at least decades, there's a conference that's held in Saudi Arabia every single year. All the scholars from around the world, including Rafida Shia, go to Saudi Arabia to discuss the affairs of the Muslims and how they can make them better. Every year. Are you hearing me? From the ulama who've been to these conferences, Sheikh Salih Fawzan, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen, Sheikh Abdul Muslim, so many. The Sheikh Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, Sheikh Saleh Al Sheikh. But they want you to think that you can't work with your own people for the benefit of your own people. Why? Let me ask you something. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, reactionary. Complete waste of space. Let me ask y'all something, man. In the last days, during the last days, okay, the Muslims will be fighting against who? I'm sorry, with who against the Jews and you know these types. They'll be fighting with the Christians, correct? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So y'all, these people, they want to claim Salafiyah day and night with ignoring the Treaty of Medina, where the Prophet Muhammad signed a whole entire treaty. Okay? Making a protection pact with 3 tribes of Jews, the Mushrikun of Medina, and the Muslims. A whole treaty. Not only that, he signed a treaty of Hudaybiyah with the Mushrikun of Mecca, and he signed his name, instead of signing his name, Muhammad Rasulullah, because these kuffar, they demanded that they would not sign if he signed his name, Muhammad Rasulullah. He said he put his name, or rather the Sahaba, they told him where his name was, he crossed out Muhammad Rasulullah, and they put Muhammad ibn Abdullah. You understand? He did this with the Mushrikeen of Medina, of Mecca. So when are we as Muslims supposed to make hajr of other Muslims? That's the question, correct? When is it allowed? When is it permissible? That's the $1 million question. So we're going to listen to Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah. I'm going to read the translation for you. Right? So we're going to listen to what Sheikh, because a lot of y'all talk about Salafiyah day and night. But let's listen to what Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, what he had to say about boycotting and what it is and whatnot. Okay? Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. Let me get this volume up. In a second, guys. So y'all can hear. So you know it's not cat.
أنا في الأمس القريب كان عندي هنا
So that society now and just yesterday,
ناس
some people were with me.
جرى حديث حول أسلوب الدعوة.
And their discussion revolved around the issue of dawah.
ومما دار الحديث حوله الهجر الشرعي.
And divinely legislated boycotting. Okay, Hajr al-Shari. Divinely legislated boycotting. Okay.
الهجر الشرعي ومقاطعة المسلم للكافر بل وللمسلم المبتدع.
And a Muslim boycotting a disbeliever, and rather a Muslim boycotting mubtadi, an innovator.
فأنا قلت وهذا ما أدين الله به وأنصح الناس به أن
So I said, and this is what I adhere to for Allah and advise people with.
مبدأ الهجر في الإسلام مبدأ رائع ووسيلة تربوية عظيمة.
Okay, that the principle of boycotting in Islam is a great and immense educational mean. Okay, this is the point of boycotting Islam. It's a great and immense what? Educational means. Okay.
جدا ولكن يجب أن توضع في مكانها.
However,
وفي زمانها.
It has to be put in its proper place and time. Okay?
ويكفي في ذلك دلالة قصة الثلاثة الذين خلفوا.
Right. So, 1 second. 1 second, guys. So, what is sufficient in this regard, and what is indication, is that the story of the three who remained behind.
ويكفي في ذلك دلالة قصة الثلاثة الذين خلفوا. لكن أنا لا أرى اليوم المسلم أن يقاطع أخاه المسلم الذي يشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله لأنه انحرف إما فكرا وإما عملا.
Okay, so however, today I do not view that a Muslim, okay, Sheikh Albani, I do not view that a Muslim should boycott his brother, Muslim, who testifies there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, because he has deviated. Who said this, family? Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, either ideologically or practically. Sheikh Albani, ladies and gentlemen. Sheikh Albani, ladies and gentlemen, rahimahullah. Let's continue.
بل عليه أن يصاحبه وأن يناصحه.
Rather, he should accompany him and advise him. He should do what? He should accompany him and advise him. When y'all, sorry to interject here in this, reading the translation here, but when y'all see me that I say that I do not adhere to sectarianism or this Hajj thing, because, like I keep saying, in my favorite Sheikh, Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah, and it's not just him. Sheikh Uthaymeen said the same thing. Sheikh bin Baz said the same thing. So many big ulama said, if the three of them said the exact same thing, you know it's true. Anyways, sorry to interject. Let's continue with this.
إذا خشي أن يصاب هو بشيء مما في صاحبه من لوثة فكرية أو خلقية يبتعد عنه.
So if he fears by accompanying him that he will be contaminated ideologically or morally, he stays away from him. Is this what's being pushed? Sorry, let me stop interjecting. Let me just get through this translation, inshallah. Let's go. Bismillah.
أما من كان ذا حجة مما في صاحبه من لوثة فكرية أو خلقية يبتعد عنه. أما من كان ذا حجة وذا عصمة في نفسه خلق قويم إلى آخره، هذا لا ينبغي في هذا العصر أن يعلن مبدأ المهاجرة والمقاطعة. وذكرت
As for the one who possesses a degree of evidence or protection of himself and also has upright character, etc., then such a person in these times, it is inappropriate for him to announce his boycotting. Ya Rab. Sheikh Albani rahimahullah. Sheikh Albani rahimahullah. May Allah reward the Sheikh. Ameen.
وذكرت أنا بهذه المناسبة أمس القريب ومرارا وتكرارا ولعل هذا مسجل في بعض الأشرطة.
I mentioned this just yesterday, as I do frequently. Perhaps this is recorded in some audios. The story which relayed among ourselves is about what happened in Syria.
الحكاية التي تحكى عندنا في سوريا أن رجلا كان مبتلى بترك الصلاة ثم تاب وأناب إلى الله عز وجل فيما ظهر منه وعزم أن أول صلاة يذهب إلى المسجد ويصليها.
That a man was tested by abandoning the prayer, and then he repented and turned back to Allah, the Mighty Majestic, as was apparent from him. For his first prayer, he maintained that he would pray it in the masjid, so he went to the masjid.
فلما ذهب إلى المسجد وإذا المسجد مغلق.
Yet found it closed. He found the masjid closed.
فقال أنت مسكر أنا مبطل.
You're closed, so I have the day off.
تعرف النكتة هي سورية. طيب.
That's a Syrian saying. Okay.
اليوم مثلنا ومثل المنحرفين عن الدعوة.
Today, the likes of us and the likes of the deviants are like this man exactly.
مثل هذا الرجل تماما. بمعنى نحن الآن في زمن الغربة التي تحدث عنها الرسول عليه السلام في أكثر تماما. بمعنى
meaning
نحن الآن في زمن الغربة التي تحدث عنها الرسول عليه.
Now we during the time of strangers about which the Messenger sallallahu
في أكثر من حديث واحد.
who spoke about this in more than one hadith.
أنه وصف الغرباء أم أنهم ناس قليلون صالحون بين ناس كثيرين من يعصيهم أكثر مما يطيعهم.
Such as where he described the Ghuraba, the strangers, as being a small group of righteous people among a large group of people. Most disobey them, and then those who obey them. Okay, this is the point here. More people disobey the small group than obey the small group. Okay.
الآن إذا نحن بدأنا نرفع راية الهجر والمقاطعة ما راح يبقى حولنا حتى أولئك الناس الذين قد نظن أنه فيهم استعداد لجلبهم إلى الخير. هذا كذا وهذا كذا وهذا.
Okay, so now if we were to raise the flag of boycotting and banishing, none would remain with us, even those people who we thought were ready to be brought to good. As we've been saying, this one's like this, this one's like that. This is that not what's happening right now? This guy's like this like that. Anyways, sorry for butting in the translation. Let's continue.
لا.
No.
الآن نحن أشبه ما نكون في العهد الأول.
Now we resemble the first era of Islam, meaning that we are not now strangers with the description of the Messenger of Allah. And this is enough.
يعني نحن الآن غرباء ويكفي وصف الرسول عليه السلام. نحن مضطهدون سواء من الحكام أو من المجتمع العام الذي سماه سيد قطب بالمجتمع الجاهلي لأنه يغلب عليهم أفعال الجاهلية الأولى. الآن تبرج النساء سبقوا نساء الجاهلية إلى آخره، فضلا عن انحراف عقدية وفكرية وعملية وانتشار الربا والزنا والفحش مما لم يكن في زمن الجاهلية الأولى.
Okay, so we are persecuted whether from the leaders of the general society, who Sayyid Qutb named as a Jahili society, as actions of Jahiliyyah have dominated them firstly, such as the tabarruj of women proceeded among the women during the time of Jahiliyyah, not to mention the creedal, ideological, and practical deviations in the society, along with the spread of riba, usury, interest, zina, okay, and immorality, which were not present to the extent to which they are today. Okay, this was over 30 years ago, during the time of Jahiliyyah. Okay?
الشاهد فإذا ما نحن استعملنا الشدة ومن ذلك الهجر المشروع معنى ذلك أننا ابتعدنا عن الدعوة وكما يعبرون اليوم تقوقعنا.
So we can be what can be observed then is that if we use harshness, and if of that it is divinely legislated boycotting, then that means that we have distanced ourselves from the dawah. And as they express today, we've cut everyone else off and secluded ourselves.
فأنا أريد والله مخلصا لصديقنا ولا أقول لتلميذنا قديما أن يظل مستقبل.
Thus, I want wallahi for our friend, and I do not say our old student, to continue with his knowledge and striving.
في علمه وجهاده ولكن أن يلين قوله مع خصومه وبس. أن يظل مستمرا في علمه وجهاده ولكن أن يلين قوله مع خصومه وبس. أن يظل مستمرا في علمه وجهاده ولكن أن يلين قوله مع خصومه وبس.
Okay, that's it. Malish. All right. SubhanAllah. So now, Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, he said, if we make hajr, we seclude ourselves and we stop and prevent the dawah, correct? Has this not already happened? Has this not already happened? And if it's already happened, why in the world are we still doing this? I'm just saying. I'm going to leave the link up here. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon, guys. I'm going to leave the link here if somebody wants to join me. But this is just too crazy. I'm going to tell you some statements of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. Some people have a disease of criticizing all the time. Okay? They forget the good about others and only mention their faults. They're like flies that avoid the good and pure places on the land and on the bad and wounds. This is because of the evil within themselves and their spoiled natures. Okay? So they're like flies. These people who always talk about the bad of people, and they leave their good, they're like flies who are always around filth. Because they never around the good things, they're always about the filthy things. You understand? And people who do this. Ibn Taymiyyah always also said, what really counts are good endings, not flawed beginnings. A lot of y'all, Salafis, you forget where you came from. There was a point in time where most of us didn't know what Salafi Dawah was. We had no clue. And y'all forget that. And when you see other people, this is what y'all do, okay? What y'all do is you otherize people. And you never see any good in them at all. So you make them misguided and callers to misguidance when he might just be ignorant. Y'all hearing me? But the way you otherize and alienate other people makes them hate the Sunnah and its people, because you will always do this in the name of the Sunnah and its people, and both are free from you. Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah also said, Allah will support a just state even if it's led by unbelievers, but Allah will not support the oppressive state if it is led by believers. Y'all hearing me? The proof of this is in the Quran. Read Surah Yusuf. Read Surah Yusuf. Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he also said, beautiful hajr, okay, is to leave without harming. Beautiful hajr is to leave without harming. And beautiful pardoning is to pardon without rebuking. And beautiful patience is to be patient without complaining. Do we emulate any of this? In the last 3 decades, I have never, not once, witnessed a hajr of anybody that caused people to love the Salafis. Not one single time. Every single time this hajr was done, it caused immense damage. And as a matter of fact, you cause the people to hate Salafis by doing this. Tarak Ahlul Bidah. Who is Ahlul Bidah? Anybody who's not us. You seclude yourself. And then you call yourself da'is and stuff. You ain't da'is. You do the work of the enemy. Welcome, reactionary. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, brother?
Alhamdulillah, Kayfak. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. What's going on? Nice show. Nice show as usual.
Tafadhal, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think what you were describing earlier was a form of self-ghettoization. So, when people cut off, it's not like they're building something that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're just secluding themselves in a little corner, staying in poverty, and propping up. So, like, are you allowed to do hajr of somebody that invites their brother to an embassy in Turkey and dismembers their body while they're alive? Is that a permissible hajr?
Yeah,
you know, and there's a separate ruling for Muslims who are living as minorities in non-Muslim lands.
Yeah.
These issues of hajr, they don't apply the same way as it would do if the Muslims are in a majority state.
Okay? Well, here's the thing, right? If you're making hajr to somebody, there has to be some maslaha, like some benefit to it. The first person to be made hajr of was, I want to say, who is it? In the Quran. Who is it in the Quran again? Abu Sufyan? I think, no, it wasn't Abu Sufyan. Oh man, I can't remember. Sahaba, right? But what happened was, it was during the Battle of Tabuk. Tabuk is that place in northern Saudi Arabia, right? So the Prophet and the Sahaba, they went to this battle, right? And they ordered the Muslims to go to this battle. It's Ibn Masud. I think it's Ibn Masud. Right? So, but anyway, if you guys know who it is, put it in the comments, inshallah. Right? So they go to this battle now. Ibn Masud and two other Sahaba, they didn't go, right? And only the hypocrites, like the Munafiqun, they were the ones who did not go. You understand? So when the Prophet ﷺ, he came back, he asked Ibn Masud, right? I'm pretty sure it's Ibn Masud, right? That why did you Ka'ab ibn Malik? Thank you, Mizan. Hayakullah. Jazakallah khair. Ka'ab ibn Malik, right? So he asked Ka'ab ibn Malik, right? Why did you not go to the expedition? And wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And he said, well, Ya Messenger of Allah, I can't lie to you because if I lie, I will be revealed about me. And he said, you know, I was busy with planting and farming and this and that and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said. Then Allah revealed the ayah, right? To boycott the people who did not come to Tabuk.
Yeah.
And this was a long boycotting. They didn't even give them salam, ya akhi. Right? So you can imagine the Messenger of Allah not giving you salam, right? The Sahaba not giving you salam. But you believe in Allah. You believe in the Prophet. You believe in the Messenger of Allah. Why was this done? It was done because it was a teachable moment that will cause the Muslims not to do stuff like that. Not to be lackadaisical and have treacherous tendencies towards the Muslims. And who was doing this? It was the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba implementing this as a form of rectifying behavior of the Sahaba. You understand? And then after 50 days of being can you imagine being boycotted? Nobody's talking to you for 50 days. Then Allah forgave these three particular Sahaba, Ka'ab ibn Malik, and the Sahaba also, the Prophet also forgave him. You understand?
Yeah.
So there's maslahah, there's benefit there. If I tell you today, right, that I'm not going to speak to you anymore because of such and such and such and such position, does that affect you in any way?
No.
Exactly. So now what these guys do, they make this Tadakul al-Muslimun, you know, Hajr al-Muslimun, that literally has zero benefit.
Yeah.
No benefit at all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You are not going to be affected if you have enough knowledge anyway by their Aqidah. But those people will be affected by your manners. I always say that dawah is 85%, it's 5% what you say, 10% how you say it, and 85% your manners and the way you deliver it. No, very rarely people become Muslim from a single conversation. But people become what they do is they're watching you are the representative to Islam. So they watch you. You understand? They watch how you act. You know, if you are trustworthy, if you are honest, if you are righteous, they're gonna link that with Islam. But if you are treacherous, if you are sneaky, if you are rude and obnoxious, they're also gonna link that with Islam.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's true.
So these guys who are telling you, you know, that we can't get together with, you know, madhabis and this one and that one, and that was never practiced in the time of the Salaf. When you have the Salaf speaking harsh against Ahlul Bid'ah at the times of the Mu'tazila, for example, at the time of the Jahmiyyah, it's because those particular groups who are real, like they're real deal Ahlul Bid'ah, were causing so much harm to the Ummah, you understand, that they had to make these positions. And on top of that, Ahlul Sunnah in those times were in the majority. Whereas if you look at Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he ordered the Muslims to go fight behind the Ash'a'ira against the Tartars and these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even I think it was Daraqutni. Is it Daraqutni? Yeah, Daraqutni. He at the time of what you call Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, he was telling the Muslims to go fight behind him, even though he was harsh against the Ash'a'ira. Even though the Ayyubids, the reason why you have so many Ash'a'ira today is specifically because of the Ayyubids, right? Because particularly Salahuddin al-Ayyubi was building madrasat and like these type of institutions to spread the Ash'ari Aqidah. But he still said to fight behind them against the what you call it, the Crusaders. Here come these guys in North America telling you have to distance yourself from your own people, your own brothers, because they have a different belief than you. And who benefits from this? Who benefits the most from this type of rampant division? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The enemy benefits the most.
Yeah, it's basically stupid people, like with no common sense, forcing themselves into position of leadership amongst Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who are these stupid people? These nobodies. Who are they? Don't even know their names. Just Abu something.
But as I mentioned before many times, it wasn't always like that, especially with the dawah.
And then we're supposed to take teachings from what they do. They invite somebody from a Gulf country, a Bedouin, right? Somebody from a Bedouin family to come to the UK or to the US, spend a couple of weeks, do lectures in Arabic, and that's da'wah. Then they go back to their country. And all they do is tell us about Ikhwan Muslimin and how dangerous Ikhwan Muslimin are. This group I'd never heard of until they came along and told me about them.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Who's Ikhwan Muslimin? They don't impact my life in any way. Who are they?
Again, these people, they do the work of the enemy. They do the work of the enemy, and whether consciously or unconsciously, we don't know how many of them are doing it consciously, right? But that's definitely a thing. Yes, there are people, and if you are Muslim in 2021 and you don't know that we have paid enemies in the ranks with beards and thobes and stuff, if you don't know that, I don't know what rock you've been living under. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a legit thing. I remember back in the 90s and early 2000s, we would get approached by the feds regularly to sell out the Muslims. Myself got approached several times, okay? And there's not a single person, at least I know from my generation anyways, right?
You got approached by the feds. How did you get approached by the feds?
Many times, so many times.
How? What did they email you, or how did they contact you?
They called me on my actual phone. They met me at the airport twice. Okay. They went around my picture in a very big masjid there in Toronto called Islamic Foundation, and brothers were coming to me saying, "Yeah, the CSIS, like the CIA of Canada, they were looking for you and asking, running around with your picture, asking about you."
What? Oh gosh.
Yeah, and like a lot of you new ones, you don't know about this stuff because it's the internet. The feds don't operate like that anymore. If they want,
so they invited you to work for them.
Yeah, of course.
Like as a paid informant or as a proper employee?
Yes, they did.
As an officer, huh?
No, like whatchamacallit.
Oh, so just cash in hand type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, there's a popular informant. His name is Mubin Sheikh. You could look him up on the internet. See how much money he got from doing that stuff. He does TED Talks and everything.
Yeah.
He set up 19 Muslims in Toronto.
Wow.
Look up his name, Mubin Sheikh. If somebody can write his name in the chat,
yeah,
or even put the link to who he is. You think these people are joking around? They're not messing around. It's y'all who are messing around doing this nonsense. You know what I mean? These guys are way ahead of the curve. You're out here talking. You're out here arguing about a 700-year-old argument, Ash'ariyya and Ahlul Sunnah in the West. Make da'wah, man. Just make da'wah. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? This argument's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Why are these outsiders telling the communities how to run their affairs when they know nothing about the reality on the ground in these lands? Yeah, I mean, I said this many times. Many times, you know, like if you're going to be making fatwa on other people, you should be from their people. You shouldn't be just taking these blanket fatwa from Saudi Arabia or Yemen or some other Arab country and just applying it to Westerners like it's like a cut and paste type thing. You understand? You're talking, particularly in the Black community, you're talking about a people who've haven't even had Islam for like a century yet.
Look, bruv, what you said, you read a quote from, I think it was Ibn Taymiyyah, who said that Allah will give, is it power, or He give authority to a disbeliever if they're just,
Allah
over a believer who's not just. Is that right?
Allah will support the just state even if it's led by unbelievers, and Allah will not support the oppressive state even if it's led by believers.
Look at
Most got to understand this.
And there is a narration, it's not a hadith, it's an athar in Sahih Muslim, which said something like, there's certain qualities which the Messenger of Allah recognized the people of the West of having, which were praiseworthy. And one of them was they're the most quick to come back from a calamity. Another was they're the most preventative from the oppression of their ruler. There was a third quality which I don't remember, but the point is, look, the justice part. You prevent oppression. The opposite of oppression is justice. So
exactly.
Look, in certain countries with Muslims leading, you're not going to get any justice. And why do you think we've got the West in charge of the world? Because they're more just. It's quite clear. You can go to court, and you had people from Afghanistan, right, during the war, who were, I don't know, victims of either being killed or being tortured or being wrongly imprisoned. They were suing, right? They convicted British soldiers, right, in British courts. They convicted them. They filed charges against them for wrongdoing. That's justice, a form of justice, anyway.
Yeah, of course.
There's still other injustices, bigger injustices.
Yeah,
I mean,
no country is perfect.
Yeah,
but
you're telling me you can go to one of these Muslim countries and as an outsider and say, "Look, your people did me wrong." They'll laugh you out.
Of course, that's just a fact.
And
that's just a fact.
Don't get me started, bro. Muslims are in the state, and we can't blame the kuffar. All we can do is blame Muslims. Muslims are the problem, bro. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things going on within the Muslim community which are hindering our progress. At the top of the list, in my opinion, is sectarianism.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That's at the top of the list. You know?
Yep. Identitarianism, whether it be your ethnicity or whether it be your cult or group that you want to belong to, you know, like your religious group. So, Muslims don't care about each other unless they're from the same country or from the same ethnicity. In fact, you get some Muslims, they're from a place called Punjab, right? Punjab. And because Sikhs, you know, the Sikh religion, the people who wear the turbans, because they're from Punjab, they look at them, they treat them more as brothers than they do somebody who's not from the Punjab.
But you know, this is type of a natural thing. As long as whatchamacallit, they're not like disparaging other Muslims from other places, you're going to have this type of camaraderie with people who are from your people. You know what I mean?
No, I don't get that. I don't get. No, I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I hear people do that. I see it, and I don't understand it. To be honest, I do not understand it.
This type of camaraderie between people who are of like kinds, as long as you are not putting down other people, there's nothing wrong with it. Because the Prophet ﷺ said there's nothing wrong with loving your qawm, right? There's nothing wrong with loving your people, right? The problem is when you hate the other creations of Allah. That's an issue. And this hate runs deep. As the saying goes.
I'm not talking about hate. I'm talking about forming a brotherhood. Yeah. I mean, forming a bond of brotherhood or a group based on other than Iman. To me, I don't see any good in that whatsoever. Right?
Well, what did the Prophet ﷺ do?
So, what did he do?
Right? If you're signing treaties and basically political pacts and stuff like this in order to better the situation of the people, then what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. That's basically a contract. That's like that's like me going to the shop and buying something. It's a contract.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is wala wal bara. Yeah. Having this love.
Now,
this is what I'm talking about.
That's a different thing altogether, right? Because
this is what I'm talking about. So you'll see Muslims who are from Punjab, they're having more wala for the Sikhs than they are for people who are not from Punjab.
Okay, then that's a problem.
That is a problem, and that's what I'm talking about.
That's when it comes to Islam, then yes, that's a problem. That's a problem, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to
so you look at Israel. They've managed a small, tiny group of people, in terms of numbers, on planet Earth, have managed to establish a homeland for themselves, right? And if you go to that homeland for Jewish people, you'll find people of all ethnicities and all backgrounds. Yes, you'll get people who form together based on similar ethnic culture, like Russians and French or Moroccans. They all group into their own little clusters to some extent. But it's a homeland, no matter where you are in the world. If you're a Jew, you can go there and live. You're welcome. Show me one place where Muslims can do that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is an issue with nation states, right? So and why don't Muslims do that? Why haven't Muslims established that? There were Jews who were working to establish that. They set in place the vision, they put in place the strategy, the tactics, and they established a project to get it done. Who on the Muslims is working for that goal? Well, this is a part of a prophecy, right? The Prophet said something. He predicted that the state that we're in will happen. So the Khilafah is gone, and now we're in a state of division. You understand? So I want to get to this question here, brother reactionary. Jazakallah khair. Hayakallah. So it says, Brother Colin, what do you think about unions, trade unions, and protect the interests of the poor and working laborers? Can we, as Muslims, look at forming community unions to protect our interests? This is a great idea. This is an excellent idea. As a matter of fact, we should be kind of working for this. What Muslims do in the West is that they always, how do I word this? Right? When Eastern Muslims come over here, they're just trying to fit in and not step on anybody's toes, and basically trying to not cause too much trouble. You know what I mean? And they're not trying to rock the boat so much. You feel me? So they come over here, they tell their kids the same thing, whether it's Pakistan or whatever Arab country it is. They tell them you got to go to school, become a doctor, become a lawyer, get your education, and get your house and your wife and not cause too much trouble and these type of things, right? Not rock the boat. But they're not thinking about making the West like an Islamic dawla. They're not thinking like that. You feel me? The only ones who are really thinking like that are the converts. The converts can see it. The converts can see, yeah, Canada can become a Muslim country. America can become a Muslim country. Britain can become a Muslim. They see it because they see how the dawah is, and it's potent. And they understand that. But after Islam, then what? You can't just stay cruising in dawah mode. You need actually power moves. You need to make moves of power. And one of these ways to make power moves is through forming these type of credit unions and getting involved in capitalism and these type of things, and building up, like helping the poor. The whatchamacallit, the fourth pillar of Islam is zakat, and zakat is a monetary pillar. And when we think of zakat, because we're born in this day and age, we think of zakat in terms of dollars and cents. But zakat at the time of the Prophet, there were no dollars and cents. It was a way to move people out of poverty into self-sufficiency. And Muslims don't think like that. That zakat itself is a very powerful tool for dawah. You understand? And when you go and you reach out to the poor and the oppressed like this, you're going to have a bunch of loyal followers because you pulled them out of poverty. You understand? But Muslims who are coming here are not thinking like that. They're thinking about, basically fitting in. You feel me? But anyways, I think that's all I have for you tonight. I thank you all for joining me. Jazakumullah khair. If you haven't checked out the video I posted on Monday about the reparations, check that video out. It's very, very important, inshallah. Okay? Subhanakallah bihamdik wa shalla ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.